Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you find on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we are discussing what might be my favorite watch for 2023. Newly released for this year, it is the extraordinary Moser Cie Endeavour Perpetual Calendar with Abyss Blue Fumé dial. Now, there's a lot going on. Let's start from the outside and work our way in. First, the case. It's a hybrid of stainless steel and blue-gray tantalum, the bezel and the case both being tantalum. The crown, the buckle, and the case back itself are made of stainless steel. Now, the watch is 42 millimeters in diameter. It's 13.5 millimeters thick, and it's 48.5 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and it's a good fit. It's large, make no mistake. I would recommend this watch for a wrist of 16 centimeters circumference or larger. I could wear this and be quite satisfied with it, but if my wrist were any smaller, I'd start to worry about the encroachment of the lugs on the edge of my wrist. Not a problem here, but again, you're going to want an oval wrist, 16 centimeters circumference or larger. Now, there are some elements that mitigate against fit problems. The first is the curvature of the case back, including the crystal. Difficult to achieve in terms of manufacturing, even tougher to make water resistant. It's an impressive feature and facet of this design. You can see that the lugs are also tightly downturned, almost 90 degrees from the case band, so when it is on the wrist, it wears quite nicely, and the lugs wrap around the edges, even if you're borderline. The strap is Moser's distinctive, minimally tanned kudu, featuring a lot of the natural qualities of the original animal hide, including imperfections. And then we have a light gray coloration with a bit of bolstering to give it volume, a monotone stitch, a sheer cut side showing you the layers of leather, a more conventional calf skin on the bottom. You'll appreciate that this is a brand new Moser factory strap attached to something rarely seen on Moser watches, and that is a full deployant clasp. You can see double deployant, twin trigger release. You press the triggers, and one of the swing arms of the clasp becomes a spring. So this is very secure. When it is closed, it's going to stay closed until you press both triggers. So this is practical for everyday use. Now, I'm also going to mention that there's a similar watch. There is a Golfberg limited edition in tantalum. Same case, same movement, same size. But those feature either a lapis lazuli dial or a jade dial. This one differs in that it's not a limited edition. It features the Abyss Blue Fumé enamel dial, and it has this full deployant clasp. The Golfberg limited edition has a pin buckle. So those are the differences between the limited edition and this regular offering. Rest assured, all of them will be, per Moser, very rare. Now, taking a look at the case, the first thing that stands out is that it's got the same beautiful contouring and complexity that we get on the standard Endeavour, which means we have the concave and black polished lug profiles. We have this lovely concave bezel that's concave all the way around, but it's broader at 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock, giving it a fluid, dynamic appearance. You can also see that there's differentiation between the vertical satin graining of the case flank and the polished elements. And Moser says it spent about 2 years perfecting a method for polishing this watch. And I actually believe that, because when I went to Boîtier de Genève, which is F.P. Journe's case factory, I was allowed to see everything there and in the dial factory except the polishing of tantalum for the chronomètre bleu. So if Moser says this took 2 years to perfect, I believe. The crown, you can see, is a slightly different tone than the rest of the case because it is one of the stainless steel components. And then taking a quick look at the dial, this is where the action is. So it is a variation on Flinke enamel. So we have a hammered-like texture underneath, and then on top of that we have several layers of translucent enamel applied with lighter enamel at the center and darker enamel at the edge, and this is fired multiple times to achieve the effect you see here. So you have that lovely hammered base, and then you have the artisanal translucent enamel atop, and the hands seem to float. It's almost like you're looking down into the waters of the Caribbean, and you could see coral reefs and seagrass and features of the bottom below a shallow, electrifying blue aquamarine surface. We have hands in the form of faceted leaf hands for your minutes and your hours. We have a little stub index. Andreas Streller designed this perpetual calendar system, and he designed it to be minimalist. So we have a large watch date that is bidirectionally settable along with a month indicator. The month indicator works this way, 12 hours, 12 months. So you can see we're 1 hour displaced from 3, so we are looking at the 4th month, that's April. This is April 11th. Now, of course, I have the ability to quick set in either direction, and that's one of the unique features here. It's very easy to do, super friendly, does not need to go back to the factory in the year 2100 like most perpetual calendar systems. And you can see there are 2 superimposed discs that make up the big date. By superimposing those 2 discs, Moser was able to achieve a large physical date indicator without an enormous date wheel that would have swelled the size of the case. We do have a little alpha-style hand for constant seconds down at 6 o'clock. Pull out the crown, activate hacking seconds. You can set this watch to the second. There's also a power reserve indicator over at 9 o'clock, although the watch is rated for 7 days. In truth, it'll run for almost 9. And then there's a little push adjuster on the side that indexes the leap year indicator on the back. Streller, who's an independent watch maestro renowned for simplified complication interfaces, well, he rightly assumed that you don't often need to reference the leap year phase, so he put it on the back, and again, you have that little pusher adjuster that works by a lever to actuate it. It has a full removable assortment, which means the balance, hairspring, and the escapement lift out as one unit to be replaced with a pre-serviced unit when it goes in for service at your region's local Moser service affiliate. They do have a global network of service centers, so between having local service and this quick assembly in and out style replacement, they allow the watchmakers to return the watch to you with dispatch. Now there's 2 barrels, each one seated in a golden chaton, along with the 3/4 style bridge. The golden chaton for the pivot jewels are a nod to the way watches were made in the pocket watch era of Moser watchmaking during the 19th and early 20th century. You can see we have a lot of handsome finish, including a satinated crown wheel core with polished teeth. There's a swan's neck pocket watch inspired click, spring, and click. We have a whole series of chaton leading down to the escapement. The escapement is made of 14-karat gold, and like the balance and the hairspring, made in-house at Moser. 14-karat is mechanical grade gold, used specifically because it reduces friction. Now the balance beats away at 18,000 vibrations per hour for a nice nostalgic slow beat rate. It also has 2 flat hairsprings, both made in-house by Moser's precision engineering subsidiary. By opposing them 180 degrees, they counteract each other by an equal and opposite margin. When due to position, gravity causes one to run slow, the other will, by an equal and opposite margin, speed up, equalizing the effect of gravity on the balance and the oscillation instantaneously in any position, much like a tourbillon, but without the requirement of constant orientation or elapsed time. You can also see that we have a full balance bridge with a free-sprung balance, which makes it both easier to regulate precisely and more shock tolerant. The mind races when looking at this movement. There are distinctive features, yes, in the architecture, but also in the finishing. As you can see, Moser's distinctive double-crested Côte de Genève and a lovely spiral satination on the edge of the bridges as well as on the base plate. All of that 30 meters water-resistant. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.